Greetings, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Welcome back to my Season 2 Valheim series. Today, it's not like the last episode. We actually have some serious gathering to be done. We did explore the location for a few more crypts in the previous episode. Today, we're going to see how many of those we can plunder. So, strap yourself in, pop your favourite helmet on, and get ready for some fat, as in, PHAT, loots, and quite a bit of iron gathering. Alright, just a little disclaimer. As I did a lot with, the Bronze Age, I did early in that respective series show you a lot of gathering and, killing stuff and blah, blah, blah. We've sort of got past that point now with iron. I'm going to start trying to sort of speed up some of the actual gathering sections. So I'll keep the dungeons in there. I'm just going to, try and trim it down a bit so that you're not seeing, too much of the same kind of boring stuff. Alright, now we're back down on the edge of the swamp again. Once again, familiar wave after wave of locals that you just have to kind of grind your way through. The Door Knocker Mark II does well and truly pay for itself in this session. Quite a lot needs, clobbering time. Alright, so now we managed to grind our way through a couple of waves of locals. We skip over to the first of the crypts that we're clearing today. As you can hear, I can hear in editing, but on review on YouTube it doesn't seem to pick it up very well, but trust me, there is a Draugr spawner in that room, and we have well and truly learned our lessons from all of the previous episodes. Not the least of which is we have ourselves a Draugr elite there, and we are going to treat them with the appropriate amount of respect. That is to say, we're going to kill it without it getting the opportunity to kill us. Now, you're going to learn in these crypts in the swamp that little starting ledge right at the entrance, it's going to save your life quite a lot. And it's never be afraid to run back there and just use that as a launching point, so to speak, for killing any Draugrs or whatever that are in this initial area. Now the problem with that plan though is the slimes and oozers, they can jump. So just be aware that they can get up on that ledge, but any of the other critters that you'll come across in here, they can't jump, so you're pretty safe. Now, as with the dungeons in the Black Forest, the random generator for this game, for these, dungeons, can, be a bit generous sometimes. Other times, not so much. So, as you saw at the entrance, out of the 3 possible wings that we could have in this crypt, 2 of them are just dead ends straight away. So we're left with just this one. But still, I wouldn't run out and just abandon it. As you can see, still plenty of iron to be mining, and chests to be looting. Yeah, I suspect that one may have been a 1-star because he took a couple of more arrows to kill him than the normal ones. And he did kind of hit a little bit harder as well, but, you know, it's all good. And here we go again with the boss markers. Game once again just making sure that, you know, 20 or 30 meters away is where bone mass spawns. You know, it's good to get this kind of confirmation in your life sometimes, you know. You occasionally get out of bed, you're not sure where you are. No, that ain't going to happen with Valheim. It really wants you to know that there is a, you know, in this case, a bone mass spawner, and it is only a few meters away. It's good to know. Yeah, sometimes you see these little gaps and you just think, oh, wouldn't it be epic if I could get an arrow through that slot and, you know, give that Dragur a headshot? Yeah, it would have been, but unfortunately the angles were just not working for us, so we're stuck doing this one old school. Alright, sounds like we got ourselves a spawner somewhere just in here. Now we all know the drill. We want to smash this thing, and we do not want to give it a chance to smash us. Alright, and this is where Dawnwalker Mark II really shows its true form. Guaranteed to, you know, clear all, you know, problem creating things in, you know, 2 or 3 swings. No personal risk whatsoever. Now, I might be coming down with something, but I'm not quite sure where bone mass is. Oh wait, there it is. Never mind. Yeah, the number of, you know, boss markers for bone mass is borderline ridiculous in terms of the number. But as we get further through the playthrough, you're going to realise that that isn't true for all of the boss spawners. Some of them, oh, it can take a really long time just to find the spawner, let alone, like the marker, let alone where the actual boss spawns. So, yeah, while I am kind of laughing about it now, it will become serious business, you know, actually not that far down the track when I think about it. Now, for a crypt that only had 1 wing in it, that's not a bad haul of iron. So, you know, as disappointing as the start may have looked, we've actually done pretty well out of it. So it's worth bearing that in mind. It's not like the dungeons in Black Forest that genuinely can be absolutely abysmal for, you know, all of the relevant loot at that level. In crypts, I've yet to come across one where I got much less than at least a stack of iron. I'm sure the game will prove me wrong at some stage with that, but for the moment, it's been pretty generous with the iron, and I'm certainly not complaining. Alright, so we've done our familiar, you know, load up with whatever we could carry, lug it back to this portal, chuck it in the pile, jump through the portal, you know, unload our shiniz, and then run back and try and pick up the rest of what we have in, you know, obviously probably a couple of trips at this stage. Or is it? Let's see. I wonder why I would do that. You know, I haven't turned into the Incredible Hulk since the last time we were looking at a video. I'm clearly carrying, you know, too much weight. Why would I be using this approach? Actually, it's pretty simple. I do tend to use this quite a bit because it does save me quite a bit of time. And honestly, the more iron you've got to lug back, the more likely it is that this approach is going to be quicker. But basically, yes, you are encumbered. Yes, you do not regenerate stamina while you are encumbered. However, if you've got decent food, you can see that your stamina bar is reasonably long, which means you can walk for a useful distance before your stamina bar runs out. You drop enough weight on the ground to not be encumbered anymore, and of course your stamina bar regenerates, and rinse and repeat. Now, never ever ever do this anywhere at night, because that is just asking for trouble. And two, never do it anywhere that you haven't already pre-cleared. So I already did this run back once just now, well, you know, as you saw, with not being encumbered, to make sure that the road was clear, and then I made sure I came back as quickly as I could to do this to make sure nothing had a chance to respawn. So, you know, you can take it one normal load at a time if you want to, and I would still encourage doing that for those that aren't particularly experienced in this side of it. But if you're a bit lazy and, you know, you just want to get stuff done, this is not a bad way of doing it. Actually, lazy is an interesting thought when you realise how much weight you're carrying, but anyway. I did hear these locals, I didn't really hear it on the video, but I heard it when I was playing. I heard a couple of locals over the hill, so I preemptively, you know, dumped a bit of iron there so I could go and kill them, go in, unload, and no, I hadn't forgotten about the iron. I'm actually coming back to pick it up now. I probably wouldn't recommend leaving stuff on the ground like that, because part of the cleanup thing now is there is a chance you'll lose that sort of stuff that's on the ground if it's not near a workbench. So I got away with it this time, but if I'd closed my session down and loaded up again, there's actually a decent chance that that iron would have despawned. So yeah, little tip there. In the meantime, we managed to get it all back, and then I've realised, well, that's a lot of iron sitting on the ground. I don't want to risk it despawning even if it is right next to a chest, next to a portal, but I've made a chest so I could, you know, store it more safely in there. And as you can see, we've got a decent haul of iron so far, but we've still got a little bit left in this episode, and trust me, there's probably another 4 hours of me gathering iron recorded that I'll be processing and releasing over the next couple of days and couple of weeks. So stay tuned for those, but in the meantime, we have us some more crypts to clear. Yeah, it's always good to keep a weather eye out for other biomes nearby. I did notice there's a couple of trees indicate there's at least a little bit of swamp over there. If we need more iron, which we certainly will, I may or may not consider expanding my search out to that swamp. In the meantime, we have ourselves a nice fresh crypt. And, you know, a nice big door knocker Mark II here for, you know, bringing the pain to its residents. Now, there is one noticeable downside of using the Door Knocker Mark II, and it's a pretty minor one because I've got my little head torch here to help me out. But because it does AoE damage, it will actually destroy furniture like torches, you know, just because. And yeah, it's pretty dark in here without some sort of a light source, so if you're planning on using the door knocker approach to the safe exploration of crypts, can I also suggest you carry a torch or two with you, just in case you get into somewhere that's, you know, too dark to see the, you know, fat loots on the ground. Having a torch handy, just like it does in the dungeons in the Black Forest, having a torch handy, definitely a useful thing. Now, on the topic of iron gathering, I'm sure many of you are asking the question by now, exactly how much iron do I need? And the answer to that question is a very resounding yes. Well, here's a good example of Valheim RNG. We've got a crypt that did actually have 3 wings in it, and we got a grand total of 21 iron. So, you know, Valheim always prepared to prove me wrong. Alright, now we speed run back to our little chest here, and yeah, not much from that particular crypt, but still a pretty good haul so far. Now we're gonna go back to base now and do a bit of a repair. Always doing my little quick scouty trick before I walk through, just to make sure there's nothing waiting to try and, you know, delete my portal when I'm not looking. We're back at base now, and we are working on a little piece of technology upgrade here. And I wonder if you can guess what it might be for. Seems to be an awful lot of different food items going into this thing. Yep, it's the spice rack. Not Spice Girls, just a spice rack. And as you can see, we now have some new recipes now that our cauldron is level 2. And we are going to get right on making some of the new stuff. Now, we don't have any spare turnips just yet. I have been farming them up off screen, but we've still got a little way to go before we've got enough spare for actually cooking recipes. Now, sausages, on the other hand, are really good value. It's 4 entrails. Well, I mean, you've been with me. You've seen just how many dragur I've worked my way through. So entrails are not a problem. We have our boar farm, so we do have a little bit of boar meat. And we've got some thistles left over from our gathering in Black Forest. So sausages are a really nice recipe at this level because, one, it is actually a pretty decent food upgrade over what we have been eating. But 2, it's actually pretty good because, you know, even though it takes 4 entrails are definitely not in short supply. And you get 4 sausages every time you make one. So, you know, get on it. Alright, this brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're planning on watching more of them, I suggest you give me a thumbs up on this one and give me a subscribe. In the meantime, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Thank you very much for watching, and have yourself a fantastic day.